Users of Reddit, what are some of the best pranks you have played? The best prank I ever heard of was told to me by my best friend's dad. When he was in college, he and another guy were the only ones to stay at the dorm over winter break. It was kind of sad, really, and neither had families that they wanted to see. They were quickly bored, so they picked the lock to the room of a guy who was a jerk, then took the door off the hinges, and then, he swears this is true, drived over the doorway and painted the hallway. The guy comes back from break, walks along the hallway, room 505, 506, 508. Wait, what? His room is gone. The guy actually went outside, looked up to their floor, and counted windows to see if his room had completely disappeared from the space-time continuum. Obviously not me, but in the early 900s, some guy in Paris posted an ad in the newspaper reading something like, "A young and rich widow looking for a nice husband. Meet me in the park with a white rose on your lapel, so I may recognize you." That guy then sent an anonymous tip to the police that the White Rose, an anarchist group, were preparing an attack on Parliament and meeting in the park. Dozens arrested. We got a new band teacher in 10th grade. I started hiding pictures of Beef with angry faces in his stuff. I got them in his office drawers, his microwave, his files. But the greatest was the one I put in the musical score. He found it during the concert. He tried to move it out of the way, but the band got wildly out of time and he broke his baton. I stopped after that. 2 years later I managed to put one in the glove compartment of his car. One year April Fool's was on a Sunday, so all throughout the evening before I snuck around methodically changing the clocks ahead by 4 hours. The next morning, on April 1st, the parents woke up around their usual time and to their horror found out we were all 2 hours late for church, which doesn't sound like a big deal, except my dad was the head pastor. After watching them in sheer panic for a few minutes I caved and told them. They were not amused. For my senior prank, we bought 1,000 goldfish, between 50 people, and filled up our high school's Olympic-sized pool the night before a huge swim meet. Priceless. That's pure genius. What happened after they saw them? After they discovered the fish, they cancelled the swim meet and spent the next week getting all the fish out of the pool and the filtration system. In the school newspaper it was reported that we caused $800 worth of damage to the filtration system cause of all the dead goldfish it sucked up. Pure satisfaction. Best prank? When I was 6 and my older sister was 8, while my parents went off alone in their bedroom to have their TV time, we created a tall-person costume like a ghost with a sheet, hat, sunglasses, and raincoat, with my sister sitting up on my shoulders. We were planning on knocking on my parents' door, and for whoever answered my sister had prepared some goofy question to ask, to make them laugh, see. But it never got that far. As we approached their door, giggling and trying not to tip over, my mother cracked open the door with a tray of dishes and glasses in her hands, looking back over her shoulder talking to my dad. When she turned forward she was almost face to face with our wobbly tall person in a sheet with sunglasses and raincoat. She screamed, flipped her plate tray up in the air, turned and barged running back into the bedroom like the devil was behind her, screaming my dad's name. My sister and I both lost it laughing, lost our tall person balancing tilted against a wall, and then my sister peed on me because she was laughing too hard and couldn't get down. We didn't even get in that much trouble, because although my mother wanted to beat both of us with a belt, my dad was laughing too hard to let things get ugly. So there, not a clever or well thought out prank, but the results were more than we could have hoped for. My sister did not back up her phone despite me telling her to several times. I had the same phone as her. I backed up my phone, reset it to factory settings, switched covers with her phone and watched her morning descend into chaos. One year me and my younger brothers turned everything possible upside down in the kitchen after our parents had gone to bed. Cookbooks, food, the calendar, paintings, basically everything but appliances. It took my parents a few moments to actually figure out what we had done in the morning, but their reaction was priceless. Best part was, it was a prank that kept on giving. For literally the next year, every so often something would be found that hadn't gotten turned right side up and everyone would have a good chuckle. Once or twice even happened when there was company over. There was a competition running by Tim Tam, a very popular chocolate biscuit in Australia, where they were giving away a weekly prize of either a year's worth of Tim Tams or $20,000 worth of travel vouchers. To enter the competition, you had to text in a special code found on the inside of the packet. The terms and conditions said that you needed the packet as proof of purchase in order to win the prize. I bought Tim Tams every time they were on special and entered the competition about a dozen times. I kept the empty packets on our bench behind our coffee maker. I came home from work one day and the packets were gone. I asked my husband where they were and he said he'd thrown them out. But what if we win? I whined. We won't win. He scoffed. I went to work and told my colleague about this and we hatched a plan. My husband and this colleague had never met. A couple of weeks later, my colleague phoned my husband on a Friday afternoon and pretended to be from TimTam. After letting him know he was the lucky winner, she said, "Now, all you'll need to do to redeem your prize is provide proof that you purchased the packet with the code XXX." My husband lied and said he thought we'd lost the packet and asked if could he have some time to find it. Seconds after they'd hung up, my phone rang. It was my husband. "Don't be angry," he started, "but we won the TimTam competition." I started screaming in excitement and jumping around. He was trying to interrupt me and I was cheering, etc. Then he told me about needing the packets to win, to which I was like, "Babe, I told you not to throw them out. You better find it," etc. etc. We ended the conversation with him apologizing profusely and promising that he would find the packets. We hung up the phone and I felt guilty within minutes, knowing how stressed my husband would be. I tried calling him back but couldn't get onto him. I called and called for about half an hour before I finally got onto him and admitted that it was a prank. The phone went silent. "Do you know what I have been doing for the last half hour? I have been wading through our garbage bin trying to find those effing packets." Without doubt, best prank I've ever pulled.